Mobile gaming has been around for so many years, bringing fun and excitement wherever and on the go. And we might just look past it. Its graphical evolution has also changed over the years. So let's look back and take a deep dive on the graphical evolution of mobile games. During the 80s and 90s, the concept of gaming was only exclusive to consoles and PCs. The concept of bringing your games on the go was not even a viable option, considered a novelty. But that all changed when the Nintendo Game Boy arrived on the scene. The Nintendo Game Boy was a little handheld system where you can play handheld versions of the NES or the Nintendo Entertainment System games wherever you may go. Today, handheld gaming is bigger in so many ways, especially on smartphones. It is even bigger than consoles and PC games nowadays. From novelty to becoming the dominant force in the gaming industry. Most of us might remember that mobile gaming started when Steve Jobs and the guys at Apple introduced the App Store back in 2008 and the Android market by Google in the same year. With a plethora of so many games, the possibilities were endless. But this is not where the mobile gaming craze began. No. It all began in 1997 by a little company at the time called Nokia. Yes, that Nokia. You know, the guys who mainstreamed cell phones to the public and introduced us to the world's most dangerous weapon of them all. The Nokia 3310. Get it? Because that thing was strong as shit. My god, what a brick house that thing was. Anyways, the first ever mobile game ever released was Snake. Yes, that long ass movable line that you move around for it to eat that dot? Yeah, that's Snake. On a side note though, I've always wondered what that little dot represented in Snake. I always thought as a kid, maybe it's an apple. After all the guys that I knew who played Snake think it was an apple. But come on, it is a freaking snake. So an apple was not an option. Maybe it's a turd?
What?
Wait, no, not turd. What the hell am I thinking? Maybe it's a person's head. A person's... Oh my god, what the hell am I thinking? We're getting sidetracked here. Let's get back to the topic. Snake was a sort of a packing title for the Nokia cell phones at that time. I mean, it's preloaded on every Nokia cell phones out there. So every people have once in their life played Snake on their phones. But Snake wasn't the only kid around the block at the time. There was also Space Impact, which is sort of a side-scroller, spaceship, kind of a space invader-like game. But it's fun and cool and you get to do boss fights. So now let's talk about graphics. After all, this is the main topic of this video, right? So both Snake and Space Impact share the graphical style of the games you may find on the NES or the original Game Boy. 8-bit, but simple and fun. Part of the reason why the mobile game graphics at that time were 8-bit is because the devices themselves don't have the same technical specs and graphical capabilities that you may find on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which can display beautiful 16-bit graphics, or even early PC games and 3D-centered consoles like the PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo 64. Also, the reason why graphics are like this is because cell phones were only considered a call and text first device rather than another medium in gaming. During the early 2000s, there was a kind of a drastical change in terms of mobile gaming graphics with the arrival of Java games, which has the graphical style and fidelity of the 16-bit games, and they are now in color rather than in black and white or green and black. But still, there was a craving for true handheld gaming experiences because, quite frankly, those Java games were plain, simple, and sometimes boring. There was this need of true handheld gaming experiences that can rival the feel of the games found on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance or the Nintendo DS. But all of this changed during 2008 when both Apple and Google introduced the App Store and the Android market. But before that, during 2007, the first iPhone and the first Android smartphones were introduced, promising desktop quality experiences in the palm of your hands, where not only you can just call and text, but also browse the web, send emails, and even use applications. But during that time in 2007, there was no true app store which you can download applications from. In fact, in 2007, the only applications you can find on your smartphone is calendar, messaging apps, and GPS. That's it. But with the introduction of the App Store in 2008 and also the Android market in the same year, you can find lots and lots of different types of applications to download. That is, if it is free, or to pay if you want premium experiences. But one type of application stood out, or applications stood out among the rest, and that is gaming apps. At this time, graphics on mobile games really drastically changed. They are now more detailed, vivid, and colorful, with notable titles such as the now iconic Angry Birds and Cut the Rope, which featured a beautiful cartoonish art style with controls made suitably for touchscreens. They also featured some neat physics simulations for when you hit a certain platform or pigs, or cutting a rope will have the right response after those actions were performed. Around this time, puzzle games were really popular and other casual games. But there are other games released around 2008 to 2009 that were fully 3D games, ranging from first-person shooters to adventure games. One example of which is Gameloft's Modern Combat Sandstorm, the very first in the popular military FPS franchise on mobile. Let's just say the game is very similar to that of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, as it features different missions with varied and detailed environments. The graphics are somewhat comparable to an early PS2 or a late PS1 game, with decent gun reflections, animations, and textured environments. There is also James Cameron's Avatar, which is based on the hit 2009 film of the same name, which features varied stages with graphics on par with some PS1 titles, just with an HD resolution twist. And mind you, even to this day, when I play these games with a modded APK, thank God I'm on Android, these games look pretty cool, even if I play it today. And it's still fun to play. The visuals, the animations, the presentation still blows me away. I'm just frustrated for the fact that back in 2009, I really didn't get to experience these titles. But then again, back in 2009, I was an engineering student in college, broke as shit, and I really didn't have a smartphone in my hands yet. So there's that. During 2010 to 2013, gaming graphics were really upping the ante in terms of visuals and presentation. Sometimes when you look at these games, you may mistake them as PC or console games, because they are that good in terms of visuals. You have Nova 2, which is a sequel to the first Nova game back in 2009. It has PS2 slash the first Xbox quality graphics. You can think of it as a Halo 2 clone with highly detailed environments, character animations, voice acting, and console quality game scripting. Action adventure games were also present, like Backstab and Sacred Odyssey Rise of Aiden. Think of these games like they are ripoffs of Assassin's Creed and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. These were massive open world games with HD graphics. Casual games were not left out in the scene though, as we saw Temple Run and Subway Surfers hit the scene. They may be just plain time wasters, but they surely have stunning 3D graphics that were staples in every person who owns a smartphone at that time. No wonder that these games were iconic in their own right. But during these time periods, for me, are the three most impressive games I have ever seen. Well, I just repeat most 2 times there, but whatever. These are 2011's Riptide GP, 2011's Nova 3, and 2013's Asphalt 8 Airborne. Let's start with Riptide GP, because I think this is one of the most underrated games out there, especially in racing games. This game can be compared to an early Xbox 360 graphics because of its water physics that at a glance you might really think or mistake it as real. It leaves wakes and you can really feel weaving and bobbing in the water as you race. It also has real-time reflections and gorgeous high-detailed jet skis and environments. The really neat thing about this game is its water splash effect on the screen. As you jump, water splashes are running off as you move fast. These kinds of things that made the game as close to a console quality experience as you can imagine on a mobile device. Next up is Near Orbital Vanguard Alliance 3 or Nova 3. Now, what I'm about to show you is an actual gameplay running on my phone. You ready? Here it is. Will you look at that, baby? This is Nova 3, released on the same year as Riptide GP from the guys at Gameloft. And will you look at that? Featuring highly and richly detailed environments, weather effects, shadows, motion blur, distortion effects, dynamic lighting, depth of field, particle effects, reflections. It's just mind-blowing. This game was even considered the crisis on mobile because of how graphically intense this game was. This was even hard to run properly on 2011 smartphones at that time, even on flagships. You are even lucky if you can run this game on 30 FPS at a stable rate. But now, you can run the game on a stable 30 to 60 FPS because of how processing power modern smartphones have now. The third one is Asphalt 8 Airborne. This is really a stunning arcade racer back in the day when it came out. And unlike Asphalt 7, even though this game is still gorgeous graphically, but Asphalt 8 changed the game forever for racers on mobile. The game has console quality shaders, higher polygonal count, improved car physics, damage and dirt animations, dynamic lighting, motion blur, various different stages, particle effects, and real-life cars with so much detail. This game, along with Nova 3, became gaming benchmarks for smartphones in those times. 2014 to 2017 were also the time that mobile gaming graphics were steadily on the rise, with indie game devs also getting on the scene. We saw puzzle games such as Monument Valley with a very approachable, colorful art style made with the commonly used Unity engine, which is common for mobile games, and even to this day it is still used. We also have Dead Effect 2, also in the Unity engine, a sci-fi horror shooter set in space with voice acting, slick console-grade graphics with detailed environments, weapons and gore animations, and dynamic lighting.
Look at that, huh? Look at that shit.
Mobile MOBA games were also the biggest highlight with the arrival of games like Arena of Valor and Mobile Legends Bang Bang that features full-fledged 5v5 MOBA gameplay with slick animations and skill effects. As 2018 to present roll around, more and more games with advanced graphics came out that even rival some PC games. You have Asphalt 9 Legends, which is a vastly and total new upgrade to Asphalt 8 Airborne. You thought this was next level? How about this? It features some of the best looking car models and tracks I have ever seen on mobile. It is comprised of 90,000 polygons that make everything seem real and dense, with realistic car animations, especially on their mechanical features. It also has HDR or high dynamic range, physical based rendering with advanced light and environmental refractions to make everything seem natural. And also it has more destructible objects and car damage animations that are cranked up to 11. I even mistook this game as something from a PS4 or Xbox One when I first saw it and play it. I mean, it's just that good. We also have Call of Duty Mobile, which brings the multiplayer excitement of the COD franchise on the palm of your hands. It has PC-like graphics that is unheard of in mobile, with dynamic shadows and lighting and physics-based animations. I have played it before, and the first time I did, and it really blew me away. We also have Genshin Impact, currently the newest benchmark for smartphone gaming. It did what Nova 3 did back in 2011, and that is to challenge every bit of processing power of smartphones of today. It has lush and gorgeous anime-style art design with beautiful PC-grade animations. Imagine that, PC-grade! And graphics with massive open world that rival that of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, imagine that. This game is comparable to that of a Nintendo open world game. That's crazy! And with that, the graphical evolution of mobile games are getting better and better each year, especially as SoC or System on Chip manufacturers such as Qualcomm, MediaTek, Samsung, and Apple now introducing high advancements for GPU power, with now ray tracing being applied as a hardware feature in these SoCs. And also with new and more advanced game engines, such as the Unity Engine 2022 and Unreal Engine 5 that delivers photorealistic effects that is now rumored to also be applied on mobile games. Who knows? One thing is certain, that mobile games are here to stay and will continue to blow us away, gameplay wise and visually wise. So that's it for today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and comment down below if you want me to keep on doing these types of content more often, because quite frankly, these types of content is really a pain in the ass when it comes to editing, but I have fun doing it. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more of these and gaming content every week plus more. So see you guys next time, and this is Bardavari saying, work hard, play hard. Bye!